Hi there everyone, welcome back to online learning. So we're going to be talking about texture today. This video will go along with the assignment on Schoology labeled Texture Hand Project. The assignment will have directions and requirements and kind of a step-by-step worksheet on there to help you complete this assignment. All of that will be on Schoology. But I wanted to create a video to go along with that assignment and just kind of do a demonstration for you all, and hopefully it'll help you out whenever you're completing this art project. So today we're going to be learning about texture, and if you refer to your packet on Schoology, you will be given the definitions. So texture is the feel, appearance, or consistency of a surface. So it's the way that a surface feels or appears like it would feel. So there are two types of texture: visual texture and tactile texture. So tactile texture is the actual way the surface feels. So for example, I have this feather cat toy. My cat loves these feathery cat toys. She's obviously tore this one up, but I was like, ooh, what a great example of a texture. But it's the actual way that a surface feels when it's touched. So whenever you feel this, it feels soft, it feels feathery, and that's the tactile texture. The visual texture would be, this is a great example. So the stone, it doesn't actually feel like stone because it's just printed on a sheet of paper, but visually it looks like it would feel bumpy. It looks like it would feel rough. That's the visual texture. The way an object looks like it would feel if touched. So your tactile texture is the actual way that it feels when you touch it. Your visual texture is how it looks like it would touch. Okay, it's not an actual texture, it just looks like one. So for this project, we're going to be creating a textured hand. So you're going to trace your hand, and then on each finger you're going to use a different texture. And you will be asked to look around your house to find things with different textures on them. So what I found was this feathery cat toy. I thought that this pencil would be cool to draw on as a finger for a smooth texture. And then I have, oh yeah, this blanket. It's like really soft and pillowy for a soft, cloudy, pillowy texture. And then I also have these crystals that I bought whenever I took a geology class. And I'm sorry, I've been doing teacher examples, so I've already traced my hand. That's why it looks dirty. But I have these crystals from a geology class that I took at Concord. It's a science class, the study of like rocks and things. And I thought, oh wow, these would be such a cool texture. Let me get out of the way, see if we can get it. These would be such a cool texture to draw as a finger. Some crystals. So just kind of look around your house and see if you can collect 5 different textures that you can physically look at and hold and touch and then draw for this assignment. So I wanted to do a quick demonstration for you all. And I'm using a marker and this canvas, which hasn't been unwrapped, so it still has like the plastic on it. And I know that I can use this to draw on. I unfortunately don't have an actual drawing board, like marker board, or like a large sheet of paper that I could do this demonstration for you all on, but I thought this will be great as well. You all will be using a sheet of printer paper or notebook paper if you don't have printer paper. Notebook paper is fine, and a pencil. Okay, you're not using marker, you're not using canvas, you're using paper and a pencil. The only reason I didn't do that for my demonstration is because it's hard to pick up on camera. Okay, so you're using a sheet of paper and a pencil. It says that under the directions on Schoology, so you don't get confused, okay? So what I'm gonna do is look at one of these textures that I have at home here, and maybe we'll start with the feathers, and I'll try to hang it up. And I'm going to create this texture by repeating and overlapping shapes and patterns. lines, okay? So what I'm gonna do for a feathery texture, I'm gonna first trace my hand. So you're gonna lay your hand flat and just trace over it with your pencil. And I have an outline of my hand now. So this is what I'm going to use for my assignment. I'm going to then create one texture per finger. So if I want to create a feathery texture and I have this feathery object that I found at home, I'm going to look at the object and use repeating and overlapping shapes to create this. So let me try to get in closer to my camera. Okay, and let's just start on the thumb. So it looks like the feathers have a stem in the middle. So I'll do that just by creating a line. And then it looks like they have larger lines on the bottom, and they slowly get shorter as I come out to the other end of the stem. I realize you can see the reflection of my camera, but try to look through that. Okay, so for the next one, kind of making these bent lines that kind of look like feathers. So I'm creating a feathery texture just by using line, and I'm making sure that I don't just stay inside the finger. So what I don't want to do is do all of my textures inside this finger and not break the boundary. So I think it's important to get a good texture that you actually break the boundary, and what I mean by that is leave the finger, you know, stem off from the finger if it's a texture that requires you to. So this is kind of how I'm creating this feathery texture. And let's do one more. And I'm making sure that I make big ones, small ones, using different sizes, because whenever I'm looking at my object, all of these feathers aren't the same size. Some are big and some are small. So that's what I'm going to recreate onto my finger, okay? So another texture that I have at home is this soft, pillowy looking blanket, okay? So if I wanted to create that texture, I'm gonna erase the lines around. Mine's not erasing great because this black marker is staining the surface, but you will be using a pencil, so you should be able to erase, okay? And so I'm gonna create this texture by looking at it. Okay, and you can see it's bumpy and soft. So I'm gonna kind of recreate those bumps by using a repeating pattern, and I'm gonna kind of overlap them. Using different sizes, so bigger, smaller, kind of different shapes. Some are more round, some are more thin. And like I said, overlapping, so I'm going on top of some of the other ones and adding a few more. So that looks like a pillowy or a soft texture. So feathery, pillowy, and soft. Another one that I thought would be interesting, and I realize it's kind of hard for you all to see this, but it's this crystal, and it has like a rough, it has smooth texture in it, and it also has like a rougher texture in it. So I'm gonna kind of look at this and try to draw what I see. And so I'm going to just take another one of the fingers and make it kind of a point, because that's what it shows. Looks like it's pointy, and then from one of the points it goes like this, and then I'll cut off that point, and then it kind of has like rectangular lines. So I'll just draw like rectangle lines there, and then it's not completely like smooth on the side, so I'm gonna kind of like just take my pencil and do a more jagged, rough surface. And that may not be exactly what I'm looking for, so I can erase it and redo it. Less jagged, more just rough looking. So that may be my crystal texture. Once you've completed a texture for each finger, I want you to go out from it, not on your hand, but out from it, and put what texture that represents. So pillow, soft, cloudy. This is a feathery. This is a rough texture, pointy, jagged maybe. And so I want you to write beside each finger what texture that finger represents. On Schoology, you will find a worksheet with all kinds of examples of different visual textures. Feel free to use these for inspiration. You've got wood texture, spider web, circular. This looks like the burlap we talked about. Here's the burlap texture again. This is a rough stone texture. This is a scaly texture, a cactus, spiky texture, and a hairy texture. This worksheet is great. You all definitely want to check this out. It has all kinds of different textures, wooden texture, smooth texture, and how to create these textures, okay? So these little bubbles with the words beside the textures, it's going to tell you how to create that texture. So for example, the scaly texture, you draw a bunch of U's overlapping, and then you'll get that texture, okay? So this is a really, really great resource to use. Even right here, it talks about how to use circles to create a tree texture. Definitely check this out. It's on Schoology. This is just another example of a texture hand that I provided for you all. Different textures than the first one. This is a smooth texture, scaly, a rough, crackling texture. I also have the step-by-step here. If you read this, it just tells you step by step how to create like a soft texture, a smooth texture, a hairy texture, by repeating and overlapping patterns and shapes. So that may be useful to you all. All of these worksheets that you find are on Schoology. Have fun with this project. I realize that a lot of you do not have a lot of experience in drawing, but I thought that would be now's a great time to practice that. Practice looking at an object and then drawing what you see. So have fun with this assignment. Upload a picture of your finished work as well as a picture of you holding it like a selfie to Schoology. So 2 pictures, one of the work, one of you holding your work, so that we know you didn't copy it off the internet. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good day.